The shadow is often misunderstood as something sinister, a dark force outside of us, or a weakness to be hidden. This is false. The shadow is all the parts of yourself that you have pushed out of awareness. It is made up of feelings, thoughts, desires, and impulses you've been taught to reject. It is the hidden self. It is not evil, but it can become dangerous if left unconscious. Think of the shadow like the roots of a tree beneath the soil, unseen but alive, growing, twisting. These roots hold the tree upright, but if left tangled and wild, they can break the foundation. Origins of the shadow, why it forms. The shadow forms from the necessity to survive. In childhood, the psyche is soft, raw, and open, absorbing everything. But the world can be harsh and demanding. To protect itself, the child splits. Parts of the self deemed unacceptable by parents, teachers, culture, or peers are hidden. Emotions like anger, sadness, or fear are repressed. Needs like vulnerability or tenderness are denied. This splitting creates a fractured self. The ego, that conscious identity, is built around what is acceptable, praised, or rewarded. For example, if a boy is told boys don't cry, he learns to shut down sadness, but that sadness doesn't disappear. It goes underground, becoming part of his shadow. The shadow's many faces, understanding its complexity. The shadow is not one thing but many. The dark emotions, rage, jealousy, envy, greed, the forgotten needs, safety, love, attention, the forbidden desires, sexual impulses, ambition, power, the hidden gifts, creativity, intuition, strength, often suppressed because they scared others. Many carry a gift wrapped in pain. For example, a deep anger may hide a profound sensitivity. A hunger for control may shield a wounded sense of helplessness. The shadow is a paradox. It is your greatest enemy and your greatest ally. The shadow's role in our lives. What happens when we ignore it? Ignoring the shadow doesn't make it disappear. Instead, it operates from beneath awareness, shaping behavior, relationships, and even health. Here are ways the shadow manifests unconsciously. Projection. You see in others what you refuse to see in yourself. Sabotage. Just before success, you self-destruct without knowing why. Compulsion. Addictions and distractions arise to numb buried pain. Reactivity. You explode in anger or shut down emotionally in triggering moments. Relationship patterns. You attract the same toxic dynamics because you have unresolved wounds. Why modern culture fails the shadow. Our world loves to celebrate the light, the positive, the perfect. Stay positive. Think good thoughts. Manifest your best life. Yet, this obsession with light leads to spiritual bypassing, the denial of our darkness. When the shadow is ignored or judged, it grows stronger, like a storm brewing in silence. Carl Jung warned, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. What is true shadow work? Shadow work is the conscious and courageous integration of these hidden parts. It is a journey inward, a deep dive into your own unconscious to bring back the lost parts with compassion. Shadow work is not about fixing, suppressing, or rejecting parts of yourself. It is about seeing, feeling, and befriending them. It demands radical honesty, emotional bravery, patience with yourself, willingness to sit with discomfort. The process of shadow work. You must first recognize your shadow, the patterns, feelings, and impulses you deny. This requires self-reflection. What triggers you most? Which parts of others do you despise or fear? When do you feel most reactive or disconnected? These are shadows calling for attention. Witnessing without judgment. Observe your shadow with curiosity, not condemnation. Example, when rage arises, instead of I'm a bad person, think, here is a part of me hurting. Dialogue. Begin inner conversations with these shadow parts. Ask, what do you need? Why are you here? How can I help you? embodiment. Feel shadow emotions fully in your body. Instead of pushing anger away, allow it to rise. Breathe into it. Integration. Bring these parts back into your conscious self. Welcome them as aspects of your wholeness, tools to support shadow work. Journaling. Write letters to your shadow or younger self. Mindfulness and meditation. Cultivate awareness of thoughts and feelings. Somatic practices. Breathwork, yoga, movement therapy. Therapeutic modalities. EMDR, internal family systems. Gestalt therapy. Ritual and ceremony. Symbolic acts of release and reclaiming. Creative expression. Art, music, dance as outlets for hidden energy. Common challenges in shadow work. Fear of what you'll find, overwhelm and emotional flooding. Resistance from ego, the part that wants to keep control. Loneliness, as this is often an internal path, temptation to abandon the process early. Know this, discomfort is a sign you're moving through real material. The gifts of shadow work. When you commit to this path, transformation follows. Authentic power replaces false control. Emotional freedom replaces repression and numbness. Deeper intimacy replaces isolation. Creativity and inspiration flow unblocked. Self-trust replaces shame and doubt. Wholeness becomes your natural state. You become not a fractured man, but a man of depth and presence. Shadow work and masculine leadership. Masculine leadership is not about domination or perfection. It is about holding space for the darkness as well as the light. A man who has done shadow work does not fear his own rage or tenderness. Models emotional honesty, not bravado. Leads with clarity and empathy, stands steady in the face of chaos, inspires others to do their own deep work. Ultimately, shadow work is soul work. To walk in light, you must walk through dark. The shadow is not your enemy, but your portal. The gatekeeper to your deepest wisdom. The warrior who embraces his shadow becomes a king. The king who denies his shadow becomes a tyrant. In closing, the path is dark and long. It is lonely and fierce. But it is the only path that leads home. To wholeness, freedom, and true power. Look within without fear. Face what you hide, and rise, not as a broken man, but as a man made whole.